Hello, traders. FX Pip Collector here. Today is Thursday, January 23rd, and this is my morning video where we cover the US dollar pairs, including gold, and we also take a quick look at a couple of the JPY pairs. If you haven't done so already, definitely check out my free Discord trading community. It is 100% free to join, there's no cost at all. We have about 5,700 members in the community, so definitely check it out. The link is at the end of this video and in the description of this video. If you would like to get access to all the benefits that are scrolling across the screen down below, then you get all those benefits for only $30 per month by signing up at my website, fxpipcollector.com. So, anyways, the first thing I like to do every morning is definitely check out the news calendar. We need to be aware of what is potentially going to happen in the day. So, today we have Canadian news. We got retail sales, core retail sales for Canada. We also have unemployment news for the US. Unemployment is predicted to be up a little bit, but I think that's pretty common in the winter time. Unemployment normally does drift up a little bit in the winter because of seasonal workers. But really, probably the thing that the market's really going to be watching out for is what Trump has to say today. We got a Trump speech today at 4 p.m. UK time or at 11 a.m. US Eastern Standard Time. That is probably more likely when the US pairs are likely to make a big move if they do make a big move today, depending on what he says. So I always like to start off looking at the US dollar index. It's such an important analysis for any of the US dollar pairs that you may be trading. I definitely am still looking at this as an A, and I still think that this is a wave B, and I still think we're going to go down eventually to make a wave C. This to me seems very, very clear to be three waves up. I think this is very, very clear three waves down, and I think that we're in like a five-wave pattern to the upside for a 335, which is likely either a regular flat that is, or an expanding flat. Now we are going down pretty strong, but I think this is very likely. It doesn't have to happen this week. It could happen next week, but I think it's very likely going to go up at least one more time. Probably grab that 123 Fibonacci extension level, probably retest the 78% before we even think about getting the big turn that we're waiting for the big old wave C. This is the weekly time frame, so it is a very high time frame outlook, but yeah, I definitely think that we're going to get another push up at some point. It doesn't have to happen today, though. I mean, I think personally that this is an A. I think personally this is a B. I think that this is likely to go down again for a C. It probably will even break structure and then reject structure and make another move up. Maybe it really is a wave three and then a wave four and then back up for a wave five. And this is the final 3, 4, 5 shape that you get at the end of every trend. This trend most likely being a wave C of wave B on the weekly time frame. So moving on to the euro dollar. The euro dollar did try to break structure. I mean, technically it definitely did break structure yesterday, but so far it hasn't been able to break and hold. That's kind of a big key for me. Like right here, it tried to break structure, but it wasn't able to hold above structure. Oftentimes when you get a rejection of structure, it does mean that the trend is still down and that the trend is probably going to reverse back down. To me, looking at the dollar index, it still kind of seems to me like the most likely thing to happen is it's going to make a wave B and then eventually go up and make a C and then back down. And this is going to be like an ABC correction. So I think if anything, we're probably going to end up making a wave B to the downside, which is likely a correction to the whole wave A. So taking it down to the 1 hour time frame. Now we have to be a little bit cautious on this move down because it hasn't even broken structure on the 1 hour time frame. I mean, it just barely tried to break structure and it's actually rejecting structure. We have to be a little bit cautious about going short because the trend is technically up and this could go up and break and hold above structure, proving that we have a higher time frame turn and that the trend is definitely back up. So we have to be careful. Like I said, I think that there's a good chance we're going to go down and make a wave B. So if I zoom out a little bit, I still think that there's probably a pretty good chance this is going to drift down and make some sort of an ABC correction over the next few trading days. Probably this is an A and probably this is a B, and then this is going to go up and make a wave C. I just really need to start seeing some breaks of structure. If we don't get some breaks of structure, then it may invalidate this wave B scenario, and it may actually just keep on drifting up, making higher highs, higher lows. So keep an eye on your structure level for sure. If it does break, then I would probably expect to see at least a 50 or a 61% pullback for a wave B. So moving on to the pound dollar. Pound dollar, like I've been saying, is much, much weaker to the upside than the other pairs because of the pound weakness that we've had. But it should pretty much be the same thing. I think this is likely an A. I think it's likely going to drift down for a B and then probably up for a C. Because of the pound weakness, I don't really think it's going to go up and take out this high right there. I think it will end up making a lower high before it ends up going back down. So taking it down to the 1 hour time frame, kind of the same situation we have here. We have to be a little bit cautious about assuming this is going down. It's making a pretty impulsive move up right now. I mean, there is definitely a chance that this is just another correction and it just keeps on going up. But looking at the dollar index and looking at other dollar pairs, I'm still kind of thinking that we're going to get a wave B. Whether it goes up and retest these highs or not, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I still think the most likely thing to happen is that this is going to make a correction to this move up. Let's zoom out just a little bit more. There we go, so we can see our Fibonacci levels. So I still think that this is likely to make some sort of a three-way pattern to the downside over the next few trading days, probably bringing us right into next week for a wave B, and this is a wave A. This is probably more likely even a wave W because it's three waves up. So three waves up for W, three waves down for X, and then like three waves up for wave Y. Or maybe it's a flat and it makes three waves of A, three waves of X, and then three waves of A, three waves of B, and then five waves of C. So either a 3-3-3 pattern for WXY or a 3-3-5 pattern for an ABC flat. So anyways, let's keep going. Let's look at the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar also has not been able to break structure to the upside, so the trend is definitely still down. Just like the other pairs, I kind of think this is more likely going to go down and make a wave B over the next week or so, then probably go up and make a wave C, and this should be an ABC correction to the downtrend. It's probably going to end up being a correction to these last five waves down right here because this is a pretty nice looking five-wave trend. So it probably is going to eventually take out the high of wave 4 when it makes the wave C. So taking it down to the 1 hour time frame. So 1 hour time frame, just like the other pairs, we have to be a little cautious about assuming that it's going to go down right now because it really has not been able to really break and hold below structure yet. There definitely is a chance that this just keeps on making higher highs, higher lows because we really don't have any confirmation even on the 1 hour time frame that this turn down is really anything beyond another correction to this move up. But like I said, I still think the most likely thing to happen over the next week or so is that it's going to start to move to the downside for a wave B. This is a wave A, and eventually it goes up for a wave C. We just need to be aware of all possibilities, and there definitely is a possibility that this is not even in a wave B yet, and that it just keeps on drifting up. So let's keep going. As far as the Kiwi dollar goes, it's the exact same analysis as the Aussie dollar, so I don't cover it. US dollar CAD is very sideways. If you were looking at this in like the eyes of like a Wyckoff trader, it's definitely looking like an accumulation, that's for sure. But we still don't have a break of structure. This thing definitely looks like it's going to break out at some point, but it doesn't have to break down. It could break up and keep on going. There's still no reason to say that this down uptrend is over and that we're back into a move to the downside. So we need to be cautious about assuming this is going to go down. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, very sideways market. To be honest with you, when I see a sideways market like this, I usually don't even trade it because I am a trend trader and I like to see trends. Now I got my Fibonacci retracement on this whole move right here. And if it does decide to make some sort of a three-way move up to a Fibonacci level and then an engulfing move down, you definitely could try to go short and then see if it goes down and breaks structure. If it does go down and break structure, then we do have a longer time frame turn. But be a little bit cautious with this one also because it could drift down, make like a wave B or two. If it really is a wave two, then it would potentially go up and up and up and up and just keep on going because this would be a 1, 2, 3, not an A, B, C like I was just showing you. So definitely be a little bit cautious on these dollar pairs. These dollar trends definitely do not have to be over. A lot of people are assuming, especially looking at the trading sentiment, you can see a lot of people are assuming that these moves are over, and people are pretty heavily short the dollar right now. Normally, when people are pretty heavily short something, it's actually a great time to go opposite as the sentiment, because the market's probably not just going to let all these retail traders make a bunch of money on this move. So US dollar Swiss, US dollar Swiss to me is actually one of the ones that seems pretty dang clear because I believe we're in a wave A or a wave one. Wave A, wave one is traded exactly the same on sort of time frames, which is looking for longs until we can tell that it's over. Most wave A or wave ones, no matter whether it's an A or one, take out the high of wave four, which we have not done yet. So I do think there's a very good likelihood that this is going to go up and take out this high, grab liquidity before we start a move to the downside for a wave B or a wave two. Basically, just like the other dollar pairs. So, keeping that in mind, moving down to the 1 hour time frame. Now, there's a couple possibilities right here. I mean, I'm hoping this is the end of an ABC correction and it just keeps on trending up like that. That would definitely be nice. But looking at the dollar index, I actually think this is more likely going to end up being like a WXY or an ABC flat, like three waves down, and then potentially it could now make three waves up and then later on make another three waves down for a 3-3 WXY. Or it could make three waves down, three waves up, and then five waves down for like a 3-3-5 pattern, which would be a flat, like a ABC flat. So I'm expecting to see one of those two scenarios. I got my Fibonacci retracement out here just to look for areas of resistance. I mean, if it does make three waves up to a fib level, then you definitely could try to go short. But I think more than likely it's going to make three waves up and take out these highs before we get another bigger move to the downside. Probably an ABC of B, most likely, or three waves of X for a WXY. So, anyways, let's take it back up to the daily and move down to gold. So gold, I've been saying for weeks now that I believe gold is in a wave B. Where's the most likely place for a wave B to turn? It's at the 100% Fibonacci extension of the wave A of B. This right here is the wave A of B. We got the Fibonacci extension projected off the bottom of the wave B of B. So the most likely place for a wave C of B to go is always the 100% Fibonacci extension, which is right around the 2770 area, maybe 2770 to 2780 area. So I also believe that gold is not finished with its move to the upside. Eventually, I think this is going to make a really, really big downtrend, and I definitely want to participate in that downtrend, but I definitely don't think it's over yet. Moving down to the 1 hour time frame, pretty strong little push down this morning, but I don't think this uptrend is over. I think if anything, it kind of looks like a 1, 2, 3. Kind of looks like it could just be a wave forward. It might push up and hit that 100% Fibonacci extension for a wave 5. Then if it hits that Fibonacci extension, turns down and breaks structure, I would definitely turn into a seller after that. But I would have to see this picture right here before I would be considering looking for shorts. It definitely doesn't have to turn out now either. It could potentially stretch out into a much bigger correction, which I actually think it probably will. Stretch out into something much larger like this, like a big old ABC correction, before it actually does go up. We're probably going to end up making a correction to this whole move up right here, and then it's probably going to go up to the 100% Fibonacci extension and grab that level before we get the big turn to the downside. So either way, keep an eye on your Fibonacci retracement levels. Fibonacci is definitely going to help you identify the end of this, whether it's a big ABC or whether it's a small ABC. Moving on to the US dollar yen. The US dollar yen also tried to break structure, as you can see, but it rejected structure, and oftentimes the rejection of structure is actually a good sign that the prevailing trend is going to continue. I honestly think that the wave B is already over on the yen pairs, and I definitely think the dollar yen is more of a yen pair than a dollar pair, and I think that the yen pairs are going to start a move to the downside for a big old wave C. So even though I have this labeled as an ABC because it does look like an ABC, I think this is going to fail as an ABC, and I think it's going to be trending down for the big wave C on the higher time frames. So going down to the 1 hour time frame, I mean, I would be looking for shorts. I mean, look at this big old break of structure we're getting right now. I think there's a good chance this is an ABC correction right here, and I think there's a good chance this is just going to keep on trending down like I showed on the higher time frames. And like I said, the reason why I think it's going to go down is probably more because of the yen than the dollar. You can compare the dollar yen to all the yen pairs, and they're very, very similar. You compare the dollar yen to all the dollar pairs, and they're not similar at all. So I think the yen is going to be what drives this to the downside. Moving on to the euro yen, heading back up to the daily time frame. The euro yen also went up and tried to break structure, but so far it's rejecting it. There's a big difference between a break of structure and a rejection of structure, and often a rejection of structure tells you that the trend is down and it probably will keep going down. So I would be looking for shorts. Going down to the 1 hour time frame, we got a little bit of a lower high. There is a chance that this move down right here is just going to be a crunch into this wave up. So, I mean, you could throw your Fibonacci retracement on there and look for 3 waves down. But I'm kind of hoping that the yen is already turned and that the wave B is already over and that this is just going to turn back into a downtrend, making lower lows and lower highs, I think is a very likely possibility, especially if you zoom out on the way higher time frames or you go to the weekly. I still think that this is very likely going down for a big wave C of wave 4, which will take out all these lows, I believe. So, anyways, heading down to the pound yen. The pound yen, I think, is probably even a better choice than the euro yen because of the pound weakness. I think the wave B is already over. I think there's a very good likelihood we're already in a wave C of wave 4, and that we're gonna just keep on going down and probably eventually take out all these lows before we start a bigger move to the upside. So let's take it right down to the 1 hour. So just like the other one, we definitely went all the way back up to structure, but it wasn't able to break. I personally am still looking for shorts. We have a little bit of a lower high. We have a little bit of a break of structure. I think there's a good likelihood this is going to make lower lows, lower highs. And if it does continue to make lower lows, lower highs, then you definitely want to try to get short at the end of every single pullback you see. Hopefully for the continuation of that big downtrend on the higher time frames, like a big wave C of wave 4, like I showed you on the higher time frames. So, anyways, as far as all these other pairs are concerned, I definitely analyze every single thing on this list every single day for my premium members. I also do a live stream up to 2 hours long, 90 minutes to 2 hours long, 4 days a week, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, where we analyze all these pairs and look for potential trade setups. And I do share every single trade I take with my members with stop loss at the exact time that I enter. I really don't like to call it a trade signal service. I like to call it learn and earn at the same time because the main purpose of my membership is to teach you how to trade, not for you to just follow along with my trades. So if you're interested in that, then check out my website, fxpipcollector.com. It gets you access to all the benefits that have been scrolling across the screen down below. If you just want to join my free Discord community, you're more than welcome to stay a free member for as long as you like. And you join that by checking out this link up here in the corner or finding the link in the description of this video. So anyways, as always, enjoy the rest of your day and thank you and happy trading.